guys? Welcome to the Hype Attack Podcast, where we weigh in on the latest in nerd and pop culture hype.
We're the fandom. We are the excited conversations we have with our friends about the nerdy things we all love and geek about. We are the Hype Attack.
I am the hype!
Oh, it's so clever.
Oh, love it. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Hype Attack Podcast. This is your boy, Rudy. Don't forget to slam on that fucking subscribe button. Like, do all the other stuff. Oh, wait, this isn't YouTube. This is a podcast. Sorry.
There's stuff to like. You can still subscribe. Post.
Anyway.
We're on all of it.
I'm joined by my three amigos here. Isaac, Doug, and Jermaine. What's going on, guys?
Senor.
Hola.
And today we're going to jump into The Flash, giving our first impressions on that. But before we get to that, guys, how do we nerd this week?
Other than watching, I don't know, man. Other than watching The Flash, I saw The Blackening the other day. That's a fun movie. That's a fun one to definitely check out. Flew my drone, played some video games.
You still playing Zelda?
Yeah.
Nice.
Not a lot of like really good hard nerd shit. Chilled out.
Jermaine?
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of I didn't nerd out too much. Like I've just been doing a lot of writing. Like I've been working on stuff, but nerding out in that way, just doing like some sci-fi writing and things like that. But that's how I nerded out last weekend.
Nice.
All right. So, Jermaine and I went whitewater rafting this weekend. And I know that's not inherently nerdy, but when you're as much of a nerd as I am, everything's fucking nerdy, right? Like in my head.
You fucking jocks.
In my head, I was like, oh, we're on some mission. We're going to go save the world by whitewater. I don't know. That's how I approach almost anything. That's how much of a nerd I am. But beyond that, I also finally dove into the DC Universe Infinite Ultra, whatever their new app is, that gives you unlimited access to like all their comics, just 1 month behind if you pay for that. And so I started reading last year's big crisis event was the Dark Crisis on multiple Earths or whatever. And I really like how the app sets it up where like you can type in one of those storylines and it gives you like, here's some comics to read beforehand. Here's like the main storyline, or here's the full story, and it's just in order. So you read through it and click to the next one, which is nice versus like having to look at a list and like try to figure out like, oh wait, do I read The Flash or Young Justice next or whatever? But so far it's pretty good. It's been a long time since I've read any of these big crisis events, and it's fun to see just what they do. And they always bring in like alternate versions whenever they do these multiple Earth things. Like one of the issues I just read, there was like the Night Flash, which was like a Barry Allen becoming the Flash, but also a Batman. Similar to, they did that in Dark Metal or whatever that other story was, but this was different. Yeah, they did it with Red Death, but this was still different. So it's fun. It's neat.
Good. I had a question. It's going to go into like it's going to de-evolve into a really long topic.
Yeah.
Hey, Rudy, what did you do this last week?
So I don't mean to brag, but I was in Hawaii this weekend flexing my Disney nerd, and that's something that I've had to come to grips with, that because I worked at Disneyland and hated Disney, but getting some distance between that, I've come to love Disney again, especially seeing it through my niece's eyes. So I've swung all the way back around to like, oh, I like Disney stuff, and I was able to go to the Disney resort in Hawaii called Aulani for 3 days, and that was fucking amazing. And not just being in Hawaii was the shit, but like for an example, when we first got there, we got to our room, I grabbed the ice bucket, get some ice, I'm walking down the hallway, all of a sudden Moana just comes across the fucking hall, and I'm like I stopped dead in my tracks. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
To break out into song.
And like she just looked at me, she's like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, hi. Like it was surreal. It just from there, just full Disney experience. So
That sounds really cool.
Yeah, I even
good R&R.
We went around and got the autographs from all the Disney characters there, and I would be completely lying saying that I didn't enjoy it a little bit because they do the little meet and greets. And
it's okay, Rudy. You can feel.
They fucking hug you and like, oh, how are you doing? Where are you from? You
hugged people.
I was like, oh my god, this is More just asked me how my stay is going. And I'm like, oh, yay. And then
You
I
guys
got,
ever get a hug and realize just how touch starved you are?
I'm married, so yeah.
If you go to my Instagram, I have pics of the stay up. Then I have fucking like me and Mickey just a full on crotch to crotch embrace. And it was one of the highlights. It was one of the highlights of the trip.
I was going to say something similar to Doug. So starved for hugs. That I'm a hugger. I hug every one of you guys anytime I see you, ad nauseum. And anytime I hug Doug, he just grinds his hips right into me. I'm like, oh, he really needs it. All right. I'm such a people pleaser. I lean right into it. Hey, but who's your favorite Disney person?
Human fire hydrant over here. Just use me.
Don't cross the streams.
Wow, guys.
Rudy with the lines.
My favorite Disney character is Luke Skywalker. Fuck you.
That's right.
Counts.
Was Luke Skywalker in Hawaii?
No, son of a bitch. They did have lightsabers there.
Then Leia would be your favorite Disney princess, right?
Sure.
Who is your favorite Disney?
Don't worry about it. Don't look at my bookmarks and my Rule 34 either.
I'm gonna get to the bottom of this, listeners. That's my goal for the show. However many episodes and seasons, I'm gonna find out who the fuck his favorite Disney princess is.
Anyway,
If anyone has their theories, let us know in the DMs and stuff. Or let us know who your favorite Rule 34 princess is.
you want to talk Disney princesses? Slide in my DMs. At Rogueland. At
Speaking of kinks and
Rogue.1
fetishes.
on Instagram.
Especially if you can
I know who
roleplay.
his favorite Disney princess is.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan.
You hurt me so.
So,
guys, The Flash.
we all saw The Flash, right?
When did you guys see it? I saw it with Doug on Father's Day with his pops. First time meeting him.
Yeah, my dad's easy. It's like, what
What
do you want to do
nice
for Father's
man.
Day? Oh, take you to a movie.
What a nice gentleman.
I also saw it on
You
Father's
saw
Day.
Weekend Dad, not
Okay.
work. He's my boss.
Okay, I just wanted to know what kind of household. You're like, oh, it's a nice household. If you ever follow Doug on Dougie Donuts on Instagram, you're like, what a nice family. And then poops out this guy.
You know.
What a nice man, though. Very nice man. It was fun.
Follow Dougie Donuts, those upstairs people.
I'm going to change my bio.
But yeah, no,
upstairs.
So we saw it with Doug and his dad on Father's Day, and Rudy and Jermaine. When did you guys see it?
I did end up going later that night.
That's right.
We had just come back from Hawaii, so we were a little jet lagged, but I did want to go see it, so I made the effort.
Hell yeah. Jermaine?
Same. I saw it on Father's Day as well. I think I saw it like 3:30.
In the afternoon.
Yeah,
Right
man,
on.
it was quite a movie.
All right, so
So let's get into it then.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Hypertech Podcast.
It was really okay.
Yeah.
it was a really okay movie.
I felt same, like I was excited to see The Flash finally have his own movie, and people were complaining about the CGI, the special effects. I didn't mind it at all. Had a problem with, I was talking to Doug about this, the split screen deep fake thing with the two berries. I had an issue I could tell, but it didn't ruin the movie for me, but I can sort of tell when they did that. 2 words, or 3 words, 3 letters and a word. CGI babies.
Oh, yeah, the babies were pretty bad.
The fuck was what was up with that? The CGI babies.
To the babies, the dog.
I mean, babies will always be tough.
It really seemed like they were going out of their way to give you the bad CGI just to be like, oh, you guys remember that Superman shit you guys were complaining about? Here's a whole movie of that.
Well, I would say, like, there's a part of me that really kind of feels like a lot of this was meta. Like, in a weird way, like, even the CGI, it's like, maybe they're even just making fun of the CGI that's required for these movies. And, like, even that whole baby scene, like, you and I started cracking up in the theater. Yeah. Because it was just like, oh, of course there's knives going for this baby, or acid, or fire, or whatever. But it's like, of course there is. I think that was like almost a statement of just like it was meta. It was like commenting on the fact that, like, yeah, this is the shit that happens in these kind of movies. Yeah, here it is.
It was like borderline cartoony, where that's what it felt like, something out of like a Pixar movie. Just the way that like the comedy hit in that, which I didn't mind. It was, I mean, how you heard me? I was laughing my ass off during that.
Yeah, sometimes laughing at ish and with ish. It was a little combination.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I wish I could like talk to the director and the writers, because I do wonder how much of it was supposed to be like commentary on the whole genre, because that's what some of it felt like to me. And I mean, we got even like
what parts?
we got straightforward, like after Supergirl showed up and beat everyone up, which I thought that fight scene was pretty cool. I thought they handled her pretty good.
Yeah.
And we got, I think, young Barry saying like, I wish I could have seen that in slow-mo.
Yeah, that was good.
And then I really liked when young Barry was taking the old Michael Keaton Batman suit. Oh, spoilers, right? We've covered there's gonna be spoilers.
Hold on a second. I have something for that.
Hit it.
I mean, that was in the trailers, but
Oh shit.
Spoiler alert.
There will be a spoiler alert on the tag. So if you heard it here and you read it in the description, if you come in here and start complaining about being spoiled,
Yeah.
I will find you.
yeah. And this episode will be out like 2 weeks after. I mean,
Yeah, so there's going to be a spoiler alert on the promos. There's going to be that spoiler alert. And,
No more. We'll just run back in time. We'll change everything.
yeah. So the whole scene of him turning one of Michael Keaton's old Batman suits into the new Flash suit, even that I felt was a little
Love
like
montage.
yeah, the montage and like the way that they were spray painting it like felt sloppy and like gross to me. And again, I felt like that was meta. And just the fact that they showed it, I mean, I guess they had to, but it also just like the idea that we got to go save the world, but first let me spray paint a suit to get
True.
our colors.
Yeah.
And then it cut to the filing of the bat ears, which is armor. So that's a hard file or hard cut.
That's a good point.
And so like to go to that, just to show us that little glimpse of just like, yeah, this is the ridiculousness that these superheroes have to do to get a look. I don't know. There was just a lot of things. Or when he lost his powers and he wanted to run,
That was very meta.
and he ended up like, because we all know like Ezra Miller got his inspiration for running like the Flash from figure skaters.
Right,
So that's
yeah.
why he runs all weird. And it looks kind of cool when he's doing the slow-mo Flash stuff. But for them to show him doing it normally without the Flash stuff, looked just ridiculous.
Hilarious.
And same thing. I was like, I think they were kind of touching on that like that commentary that people like us might have of like, what would it look like if he was running normally like that? And they showed it to us.
Speaking of the comedy of the movie, the Flash in I whistled real hard. The Flash in the CW in the Snyderverse has always been the comic relief. So it's really cool to see him in his own movie and his own storyline. But what's really interesting is that because he has his younger self, because the younger self is 18 years old, so he's now gets to be the mentor figure, all the while young Barry is now that's the comic relief. But I complained to you about this. I had a problem with how dumb they made young Barry. It was like there was certain comedy bits that worked, and then there's other parts where he comments on the prison that's holding Supergirl, and he's like, oh, they're holding her in a giant scrotum.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't necessary. Come on, that's so low hanging
And like
fruit.
his roommates were all pretty dumb and stuff too.
Man,
But I think that
Rudy
just
Mancuso was in that.
illuminates the person Barry could have been with his mom
And
versus
I get
Exactly.
that. Yeah.
versus who he was, with that tragedy, carefree 18-year-old, carefree 18-year-olds are assholes. So, no offense to
Yeah.
teenagers out there,
the other
but
carefree
you guys are kind of dicks.
No.
I was there. I know how it is.
But he was like and I get that, right? Because my wife was like trying to talk. I was so irritated by it, and she's trying to but he's he didn't get all of these things. I'm like, no, 100%. They could have just tuned it down a notch or two. There's so many moments where I'm like, I'm fucking hating this character. I don't want you're supposed to care for him and love him and stuff. I just fucking really hated that character. But that's me.
But and then I guess at the end though, he was the one that despite being this annoying 18-year-old was like, no, we can fix this. We can fix this. We can fix it. We can fix it. And ultimately, caused all these problems. But
Yeah, because he was cocky as hell as well.
yeah, I do agree though. I think it was a little overdone.
Yeah, just a bit. I
Just a
don't mind
bit.
him being dumb, but it was
But I think Rudy's spot on. I think it was absolutely meant to show us what Barry could have been.
For sure.
Had the
Yeah.
tragedy not happen. Which is, again, I guess commentary on a lot of these superhero stories. Is like,
Or it's just
Just
like
what-
the evolution of his character. Like you just see what he was like to where he is now, because he did look back at his younger self and was like, God, I could see why people find me fucking annoying. So, I mean, it's just one of those things. Like, he's just having a realization now of okay, I need to be this other person because of who I, was and all this kind of things. Like, it's just one of those things. I just took it as growth.
Yeah, no, and he really did side as even though Ezra Miller is Ezra Miller and all the things that he's been doing, it was kind of hard to really enjoy the movie because of what a fucking nut job that guy is. But then, I allowed myself to get carried away in the movie. But there was a part where young Barry is like, "No, we can go back." I'm like, boom, there's real Ezra, like psychopath right there.
Yeah. We talked about this. One thing that was so. I'm not really a fan of superhero movies where they take away their powers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe that's something you do like later on if you're doing multiple movies. But this is the Flash's first movie. Solo movie, and he was in a Justice League.
Did you know that this was going to be that type of movie where his powers got taken away?
No, I didn't.
I'm glad they like saved it and didn't spoil that.
Yeah,
Much unless you were to like look at the
Wait, but
trailer.
wasn't that in the Flashpoint? Because didn't he lose his powers and
Yeah.
he was trying to get it back?
I don't know.
Because I remember because it was
Thomas
him and
Wayne.
Batman were trying to
Yeah.
get it back. I believe that was
That seat that he's strapped into with all the chemicals around him, that I think they lifted that from the comics.
yeah, that's
That's
exactly that's from the comics.
But what I was going to say was they ended up giving us an origin story without it being an origin movie.
Good point.
Which I thought was really cool because, excuse me. Sorry.
Wait, let's.
Hold on 1 second.
EAD. It's in your mouth.
Spit it out.
These origin stories, we've seen so many of them. So, and with the Flash, they introduced in Suicide Squad technically, and then we got him in Justice League. They never, as far as the movie universe goes, they never showed us like how he got his powers and how he learned them and stuff like that. So by taking away old Barry's powers and then giving them to young Barry, we kind of got that story. Like Barry had to explain, like, no, like, you can't just run in regular clothes and like you can't do this, or like, oh, phasing, like, and then he falls too and it's like naked and stuff like that. Like we kind of got like a quick recap without it actually being an origin story, and I thought that was kind of a cool way to do it. I mean, obviously you can't do it with every character,
Yeah.
but it was kind of nice to see.
I think that was an Ezra body double, or them's Miller's butt cheeks.
The butt cheeks,
Yeah.
he probably would put them out there,
But-
or
kinda
they,
nice.
right? Sorry,
Oh.
pronouns, right?
Well, they were nice.
yeah, they were nice.
I was whelmed with the movie. Like it was like
Good word.
I wasn't too hyped about it because it's just one of those things. Like I know the universe is gonna get rebooted, and just the fact that I feel like they didn't do the exact story of the Flashpoint. There were things in that story that I was like, I was waiting for those heartbeats and all those things in there, which I don't mind a adaptation, or a reimagine, whatever you want to say. But it did have like a few heartbeats in there that I did like for instance, when Zod did come, he did say he was there. Mm-hmm. I liked his little
Oh, I love that flashback.
telling, like that's the little heartbeat that I liked in his like his kind of retelling of like that's all I could do.
Yeah,
Was just
and-
save that one person, and it was just like I was like,
I love how DC has handled this. Sorry to interrupt, but like because when Man of Steel came out, the first of these movies, they weren't ready to do a shared universe kind of thing, and so when that kind of started going forward, we already got like, oh, Bruce Wayne was there, right? Like in BVS, we saw that great, amazing opening scene, and then now this same thing. It's like, well, actually, Flash showed up too. Like he had just gotten his powers not too long ago, and like he showed up. Like I think that's
Where the
kinda
fuck was
cool.
Wonder Woman?
I don't know.
she
Crying
was
over
waiting.
Steve Trevor.
Raping somebody.
But
else?
I will say this to add to what Doug is talking about. There's a thing about
Sorry, Jermaine, go ahead.
there's a thing about storytelling, and it's like I feel like a lot of people want everything right there in one movie or everything explained. Like they need to know where the Flash was, where Wonder Woman was, where Batman was, if all these things happen. But when you're reading a book or you're reading a comic, they don't have to shove everything at you. They can tell you these little beats as the story comes. You don't have to know everything immediately right away for me anyways to enjoy a story, because it's cool to see these moments now, how everybody was complaining or how everybody feels like it's rushed. I'm like, just give it time and they'll come back and they'll explain everything to you. You don't have to have an origin story in everything or just say, right then and there where everybody is at this particular moment.
There's times when people in the as far as movies, they're like, well, where's Superman, where's so and so and everyone, and they did what like Spider-Man Far From Home did, the one with Mysterio, is they had Alfred just go, oh, so and so's off planet, so and so, blah blah blah, they're doing stuff.
Oh, at the very beginning when
because you always wonder like, well, why aren't they helping? Whatever, and they handled it in a quick and comical way.
Yeah, like they explained everything very well.
So how do you guys feel about the cameo, the big cameo? Again, spoiler alert,
that's
Wonder Woman.
That's one of my favorite things about this movie.
Yeah.
Because it was a what if of something that didn't even happen.
But
anytime I get to see her face, I'm fucking happy about it. So I'm not mad about
She's so
it.
goddamn cute.
It's just adorable, amazing.
yeah, it's such a great... Wow.
Again, do you need to...
Maybe no more absinthe before really just wakes up the horniness.
The same reaction to Gal Gadot,
Yeah.
Gal Gadot, or however you say it.
Gotta go, oh my God.
You guys are talking about that cameo. I thought you guys were talking about
Sober or-
cameos in general.
Oh no!
Or
I mean,
drunk,
at that
okay.
point specifically, that cameo. But yeah,
chronological-
cameos in general.
Oh no, the Wonder Woman cameo was good. That's where I said it.
I think it was good because it's like that's the world we live in. And I was telling you guys, I think I saw some people complaining online about how they're just doing that because this is a shared universe. Like it didn't do anything for the story, but it's like it's a shared universe. They're a team.
Yeah.
They're a team.
But that's what happens in the comics. Like you read things. It's not like somebody's always doing something by themselves. You have these quote unquote flybys. With certain superheroes. Oh, you need help? Sure, let me come help you out for like a quick second.
Well, also they didn't she wasn't there and had a cup of tea, and then talked about stuff. Like she was there for a quick minute. She had a little flirty thing.
The lasso of truth
that was
stuff.
hilarious.
Yeah, that was good. But
And then she was gone, and that was it. Like fucking people lay off.
Even that comment though, it never gets old because they did kind of the same jokes in Whedon's Justice League.
Yeah.
But even, again, it's that little kind of meta commentary. I think it never gets old. Yeah, because
what was the line that Batman said?
My ego is too big.
Yeah, my ego is too big.
to say that
I was dying.
Better just spending my money.
I was dying.
Better
But
childhood trauma. Oh, we confirmed that Flash is a virgin.
can I just say that the
No
Batman
sex exists,
scenes,
but I've never experienced it.
Sorry, Jermaine.
the Batman scenes were top notch.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have a question. Did Batman's face in those scenes with the mask on look a little off?
Yeah, it looked like it was. Well, Affleck looked
It looked
pretty
more
there.
like a
And the voice,
CGI
too.
cowl. Like it looked more like a CGI cowl.
You said the voice. Remember I commented on the our Snyderverse breakdown. I was like, I'm so glad that they had the voice changer, and then they just ditched it for this movie.
Oh, they
really
did.
pissed off about
maybe
that.
something was throwing me off, and you're right.
It was that.
Yeah.
Well, that too, but it didn't sound like Ben Affleck to me either. Like his regular voice.
Well,
When
even when he was Bruce Wayne.
yeah, when he's in there, like it just didn't sound like him. Like it sounded like
J-Lo, what have you
Well,
been doing to my
say-
belly?
something.
He did say he was in there for 5 minutes, so maybe he just recorded some stuff and he was like, eh.
Yeah, it could be just like weird ADR. Maybe J-Lo sucking his soul. He looked a little thin. I mean, I know he's been sober, so I mean that's good for him. I mean, I didn't mind him. Well, it just didn't feel like Bruce. Didn't feel like Batman.
Did you guys like seeing the bluish?
I love
suit?
seeing the bluish. It was weird. You know what it felt off is that it was in the daylight. But other than that, I love anytime you can go like comic book, not necessarily accurate, but like close to it. I love seeing the blue and gray. I was pointing at I was like, oh my god, when Keaton revealed all his suits, and then there's like the classic blue and gray, which look almost like spandex suit, and I was like, oh my god, look at that one over there.
So now that we're talking about Batman, it is I guess, good to point out that this director of The Flash has already been named as one of the 3 directors confirmed so far for James Gunn's DCU. And he's going to be directing Batman Brave and the Bold. And
Andy Muschietti, who has directed It.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So
He's a good director.
And but seeing him handle at least the Batman action, I'm kind of excited for it. Because Affleck, I think it was pretty cool, like seeing him on the motorcycle, and then when he flew off of it, and like was great. Like I thought he handled that there. And then Michael Keaton, the kitchen fight scene, and then him fighting that Kryptonian giant.
Well, I was going to
perfect, because it's one of those things like, how does Batman fight someone like this? And it's like we saw it, and so for him directing Batman Brave and the Bold, like I have at least some hopes. Like, okay, at least this director I think understands how Batman can handle some situations.
Don't forget the silo scene where Batman comes in and kind of saves both of the berries from like the soldiers, and that felt very reminiscent of Batflex's warehouse scene.
I do like Michael Keaton borrowing John Wick tactic where he's always covering himself with his cape to block the bullets.
Oh yeah, perfect.
I love that.
I lost my shit when Michael Keaton just started flinging batarangs. Like,
Yeah,
I was
fuck
like,
yeah.
Yeah,
go.
it was like
Good shit. That was
Batman,
good shit.
like pure fun Batman.
Yeah.
Like they weren't trying to like be too grounded, but
Like
in a way it always is. But
they handle the way you would think Batman moves, and and that's the one thing I love about the movies. I know I've said it over and over again, but I just like the way they figure out how to make him do what he does best. Like Ben Affleck, the chase scene with the motorcycle, and then him having like the tethered line, and he's just swinging through traffic. I'm like, oh my God, I love every minute of that. Michael Keaton, what Doug said with the Kryptonian. But that brought up a question that I've had and a lot of people had, especially in BVS. So everybody thought Ben Affleck's Batman was pretty useless against Doomsday. But watching this one, it brings up the question, like, do you think he could have even gotten up close to Doomsday to even do, a little bit of Batman-esque stuff too?
If you had that Batman prep time like you guys talk about, yeah, maybe at least getting close to it. He maybe land a bat punch and that'd be it.
Because just watching him fight a Kryptonian who's on the same level of Doomsday, I was just like, man, it would have been cool just to see Batman just get that one.
He would land a kapow and then there would be a splat.
yeah,
And then that would be it.
with the whole story, towards the end of this, where it was like Michael Keaton, Batman died, Kara, Supergirl died, and then young Barry tried to reset it. I mean, it was sad, and but I think it was kind of cool to see, because even though he did have this like awesome fight with the Kryptonian giant, he still died. Like he still got his ass beat.
Oh, he still got his ass handed to him.
Because that's what would happen. So to answer your question, like Ben Affleck trying to get to Doomsday, like maybe he would have punched him once, like, or maybe he would have even got a couple punches, or even the charge things. But I think,
but I feel
ultimately we would have had a scene of Batman dying.
But it's the tacticalness of Batman.
Yeah.
And I feel because he has Superman and Wonder Woman there, I felt it would have been a different battle. Like he wouldn't have died. I don't think he would have died in that movie. Like let's say like it's a real fight, but I don't necessarily think he would, because there's so many times like you see him go up against. I mean, granted, I'm talking about the comics and stuff, but and even the animated movies. But he goes up against Darkseid, and he does get that one little hit, and that disrespectful hit, and I love it so much because it's all because
To give the
only
old bat smirk.
because only Batman could do that. And it's just one of those things. And he did that purposely because he knew he had bombs all over Apocalypse. And
And he did that against the big old Titan dude.
he told
So good.
Darkseid, he was like, I'm going to blow this shit up. And Darkseid was like, because you're human, I'm going to believe that.
He was like, if you were the Kryptonian, you never blow a whole planet up. He's like, even the Amazonian, you're like, nah, you wouldn't do that. But you're human. You guys kill your own kind for sport. He was like, I legit believe you.
Score 1 for humanity? I don't know, maybe.
Savages.
Going back to the story, that moment of growth when it is good to see like that juxtaposition with young Barry being like, no, I can do this because I'm young and I'm an idiot and we can do it. And he doesn't. I mean, nobody but Michael Keaton understood how the whole time travel multiverse thing worked. That threw me off.
Because he's Batman.
Well,
Like,
that's
that's the
older
superpower.
Batman. He's been around for a while and stuff.
Like that's the that noise just threw me off.
That was my
But
butthole, sorry.
It's
fresh.
It's what Batman does.
spooling.
Like he's just that character that you need to handle something or you need to figure something out. I'm Batman. I got this.
Well, it's interesting because that world didn't have metahumans. So
Yeah.
him researching time travel. Oh man, do you think he was researching time travel so he can go save his parents?
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe. Also, this is like what 30, 40 years he could have learned it along the road. But my whole original thing was I was going to say was the juxtaposition between young Barry thinking we can go back and do it, and then after going back the 2 or 3 times, our Barry stops and after seeing Batman and Kara die has that realization. This is a fixed point. It's going to happen. It has to happen. And that was when he realized my mom has to die.
But do you feel it was character growth or do you feel that young Barry just knew his mom was going to die?
What do you mean?
Like he overheard him talk about his mom dying.
Oh no, but I think Isaac was saying that the older Barry,
Our
growth.
Barry.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the
Yeah.
young Barry, like him being hopeful.
No, he wasn't hopeful. He was just it was blind rage because he hadn't
Okay, I
lost his
got
mom.
you.
He's like, I'm gonna fucking do everything I can. Like as any of us would probably do. You would do whatever the hell you could to save the person you love.
Yeah, and especially like 18. I mean, going back to our last episode when we were talking about superpowers. I mean, let's not forget this is a world without metahumans, and then this 18-year-old was suddenly given powers, and you're given powers, and you're going to think like, oh, you can save the world, you can save everyone,
Yeah.
and to hit that point where you couldn't, but then you can go back in time and try again, and
That's
you
right.
couldn't, and you can go back in time and try again, and you couldn't. Like that'd be frustrating. That'd be hard to.
Because in the course of however long the whole story took place, as far as like young Barry's concerned, let's just say like a week, right? In the course of 7 days, everything's going hunky dory. Everything, he's going to school. His parents are alive. He's an idiot, and then he gets superpowers, and then he's able to do all of these things, including time travel. You'd be like, fucking, well, I guess there's no limit to anything of what I can do. Let's continue to go back and do this shit.
Yeah, I will say,
I totally knew it was going to be Dark Barry was going to be.
oh yeah, I think as soon as he got like the one thing through his arm, I was like, oh, spiky bits.
I knew from watching the CW Fast, I was like,
Yeah.
here we go. There's going to be another one out here somewhere.
Yeah. The ending to it all though, I mean, like it was pretty. I mean, I wasn't crying. It wasn't like pulling out like that kind of emotion. But
Should
just,
look 2 seats over. My wife was
she was crying.
tear or two.
Yeah, I mean, it ended up like being a pretty emotional ending though, with him having to pull those tomatoes out of the cart because he recognized that his mom had to die.
Oh yeah, that scene like that got me like
there.
when he had that realization that he had to do it.
And I guess that's the thing is like this movie had a lot of good scenes. Like there was a lot of good stuff to the movie.
Oh, no, it had
It's
the
just
heartbeats. Like, it had the
somehow
heartbeats.
the package, it didn't work
No,
fully. I mean,
But-
I was still like okay with it.
no, go ahead.
Does anyone else feel a little cheated that they didn't go in depth about Barry's mom dying? Like he didn't like stop to even see like what happened. Like he
Yes.
just kind of skipped over that.
Yeah.
Like it has to happen here. Let me take the cat out and then just I'm gonna go. Like I'm not even gonna see how it happened or who did it.
I mean, maybe he like couldn't. Maybe he wouldn't want to.
Do you think that they're possibly saving that for like it was a reverse Flash?
Yeah, because I was going to say, isn't that what the comics have established?
So I understood.
And then, and I think that was already like established. Like the second, if they do another Flash movie, would probably be with the Reverse Flash.
Did we all not watch Into the Spider-Verse? It's a canon event. It has to happen.
I would still want to know, like, if it has to happen, like, who am I visiting next on my my future Back to the Future jaunt, so I can slap them around.
Oh man, but can we talk about the other cameos, please?
Yeah, I wanted to go back to that too.
One of my favorite. I don't know if it was my best moment, but it's damn near there. But
Hello.
that Nicolas Cage, that Nicolas Cage of that Superman movie that was never made.
And we
man,
got to see it.
I cannot believe they got the fucking giant spider.
So for those that don't know, the story behind if you've seen the movie, and you don't know about the Nick Cage thing, here's what is happening. It's not just a random, let's put some stuff together. Flash fact is years ago, I think Silent Bob.
Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith was I
almost want to get him.
All the cells just died in my brain. I used it all for Flash fact. Can't even say it now. Fuck, now I'm like self-conscious. So Kevin Smith was picked to direct a Superman movie starring Nicolas Cage, and the producers wanted, this real wonky, big, shiny, bulky looking suit. I think they actually wanted Nick Cage with long hair, and they're like, all right, but he has to fight a giant spider, a radioactive spider, a giant spider.
And a polar bear?
Was it really?
Because it was a polar bear in there.
The deadliest predators of the animal kingdom.
And Kevin Smith, being the big nerd that he is, he's like, but Superman never fought a big spider or a polar bear. So,
and also, didn't they want him not to fly?
Oh, that's right.
As well,
I think so. Yeah. So
there was originally talk, I think, about even having like blades, like his the S. Like there was.
Well, there was that one Superman where he threw the
cellophane.
Yeah.
We get some saran wrap on these motherfuckers. Save them for later.
So Kevin Smith walked away from it, and then the movie was shut down. There's set photos of Nick Cage in the suit, long hair. Oh, Nick Cage, a Superman. And it was shut down. And that producer then went on to make Wild West, wherein there's a big fight with a giant mechanical spider. So you got his whole spider thing. And
he got his damn spider.
Flash fact. Yeah.
But the Nicolas Cage cameo was so, out of all the super
DC's What If?
Yeah. Because it's like, I saw the movie with my dad, and afterwards it's like, Nicolas Cage, like he was supposed to be Superman. He's like, oh, is that what that was?
Yeah.
Like
it's very
so many people aren't going to know.
You got to be like a nerd or a geek to like know that type of stuff. When I saw it, I immediately was like,
immediately.
I was like, oh my God, I can't believe they did this. And I love it so.
But my dad absolutely loved seeing George Reeves Superman.
Oh, yeah.
That was super cool. That was very cool.
George Reeves and then Christopher Reeves also. Like,
it was good.
All of that, but
all those little cameos in that little multiverse moment.
And Jay Garrick.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool to see.
Like, I love that because he never gets it, like, other than the CW Flash, like, he never doesn't get a lot of play.
Yeah.
So, okay. I know.
But let's talk about the last cameo. But go on.
Oh, no, you can mention the last cameo before I get into this.
Okay. Last cameo, which I heard some stuff about that particular scene wasn't filmed until later.
January.
Because I remember watching it, like, his hair is weird. So I bet you they fucking filmed it later. The original scene was the way it was supposed to play out was Barry's on the phone, and then he's talking to Bruce, and the car pulls up, and then you just see feet. And then Barry says, "Who the fuck are you?"
Oh, I heard the original scene was supposed to be Michael Keaton's Batman and Sasha. Okay, I'll let you finish.
Just shut the fuck up. No, so the way that it was supposed to play out is
fuck right off.
I was like, "How are you throwing your voice?" Rudy's literally putting words in your mouth. But that's the way the scene was supposed to play out.
Because I'm his ventriloquist.
But there were set photos of Keaton on those steps of that last scene. So it was like, was he going to be the new Batman?
Well, so from what I read was that Warner Brothers originally, the final scene was going to be both Supergirl, Sasha Cale's Supergirl, and Michael Keaton's Batman showing up. And then when Discovery bought Warner Brothers, they wanted those two and Henry Cavill and Wonder Woman to show up, Gal Gadot. And then when James, 2 days later, when James Gunn got control, he said, no, I don't want any of them because he wants to do the reboot. And then I think the George Clooney thing came out of a joke of just like, well, there's so many Batmans, like pick one. And then so this January they filmed the George Clooney.
Yeah, so that's the cameo. It's
Yeah.
George Clooney. But before we talk about that or question that shit, my wife actually pointed something out because I was like, here's what was supposed to happen, and it was possibly supposed to be Keaton. And then she was like, she reminded me, wasn't Keaton supposed to be in the Batgirl movie that was never made?
Yeah, and Aquaman.
Fuck off, really?
Yeah, he was supposed to. Yeah, so their plan, Warner Brothers' original plan was full on Michael Keaton was going to take over.
Oh man, I wouldn't have minded that.
Especially if they had brought on a Dick Grayson or someone, or Terry McGinnis.
But one of
Finally,
the big
Rudy was gonna get
one of
that
the big
dick.
rumors that I heard about Michael Keaton was that they were actually going to finally do a Batman Beyond movie,
Yeah, that's what I would say.
love
Like
that.
Terry McGinnis.
and he would have
bring
been.
him in.
I want that so bad.
I always thought of Keaton as being like
Oh, he would've
the
been
old
perfect.
Batman. 100% perfect.
Because
still
he
do
was
it.
the first.
Hold on,
still
put
do
it in the universe. He can still do it.
Yeah, they can still,
Yeah,
James
he can
Gunn,
still
he can
make-
still do it.
James Gunn, make it happen.
Make it happen.
But
Gun listens.
so
fucking do it.
I do have to go back to this because Doug had mentioned the thing about Barry running, and
He does that a lot.
I run Barry run for those of you who watch the CW. But I do
Right for the camera.
like I have a like
Warming here.
I really do have a problem with
need a
his
fan
run.
break.
I don't like it whatsoever.
Ever? Really?
No, like zero at all. And
I'm pissed in your cereal.
my little brother is a Flash fan, like a big Flash fan. Like I think that's probably his favorite superhero. He hates how Barry runs
Hates
so much. Like it. Honestly, I would rather them have done like the style of the CW,
I do like that.
and also I felt Marvel did it better.
Oh.
In Eternals,
I've heard people talk about. Well, in the
So I mean that's a good question. I was going to ask. Like, we've seen quite a few characters now with some sort of speed. Like, do you guys have a favorite? Mine. I mean, Quicksilver.
Incredibles.
Dash.
Quicksilver in the X-Men movie. That very first time when he like puts the headphones on and like just freezes him and like just starts.
that
That was the-
Quicksilver.
That Quicksilver, not
Speedster
Marvel's
scene.
Quicksilver.
No.
No.
Well, you didn't see that coming?
X-Men's Quicksilver. I thought that was probably like one of the.
Relax. I just want to run in the Speed Force. No.
Does anyone remember they're old Star Wars movies, but they weren't like official Star Wars movies, or the Return to Endor movies where they went back to the Ewoks and did a little standalone thing? No,
I think I'd read about them. Or I've heard
No,
about
like
them.
I've only.
they have a little. It's not an Ewok. It's a little half-pint alien, but he has speed powers, and he just like that's the best speed demon I've ever seen.
I think the run that
Pull it up.
the run that I would like. I personally don't, and don't make me give the backpack back. I really like the backpack.
Oh, if you like it, you like it. But it just didn't do anything for me. Like,
Because
me, like, well, let me just say this. For myself, being a artist, and I used to dabble in animation. It's just one of those things like him running in slow motion, and you're still seeing like his like fluid moments. I feel like you shouldn't have necessarily seen all that, or you don't need to see all that. But it's mainly how he chose to run. I didn't like that whatsoever. Like it removed me from the Speed Force. I was like, I don't like it. I'm out of here.
For me, though, I think it kind of established that like the Speed Force is not just running fast. Like to me, it kind of gave it this alien like aura or something, like where it's like he couldn't just run fast. He had to actually ride it differently. Like it. I don't know. I don't know if I'm expressing my thoughts.
Yeah,
clearly
ride it
here,
differently.
I just wish he would just chose a different run style. Like it's just that it's too out there. Like his motions are just too much. Like I just felt like it should have been
We need to go out
like
to the
more so
street
like
right
a-
now and film what you want.
like go back
Olympic
to the
athlete.
to the CW Flash. There are some running scenes where it's obviously Grant Gustin like on a treadmill, just like moving his arms back and forth, right? But then when they cut to like the CG and he's running down the street and his arms and legs are moving fast, I continuously want to see that when it's like the close up and moving fast, it's called complete speed blur.
But they could have added the speed blur to it, and maybe it would have been better. But no, not that style of run. I didn't like that gesture of running. That's what I'm probably trying to say.
Jermaine has spoken.
Yeah. Okay.
Come at me, bro.
When they first debuted that it took me a while to get used to it. Like, it was jarring. I'm like, what the hell is he doing? Like, just to see his arm just swing so wide out, and then they came with the explanation about with the speed skating, and I'm like, I guess. I mean,
as someone that used to run quite a bit, I ran a couple of half marathons. No, not speed skate. I've never done that. I have size 15 feet. I don't even know if I can find ice skates for that. But as you run faster, your stride changes, and like the run. When I run at like a 12-mile pace, if I'm going like distance, it's very much like a jog versus if I'm trying to do like a 7-minute mile or 8-minute mile. It's very different. So it's like, even that, maybe they're playing on that idea of like, look, if you're starting to run at the speed of light, like maybe your normal stride
is going to change.
Like wouldn't even work.
Yeah.
Like maybe you'd almost like the wide things. Maybe it would be balanced, right? Because that's the whole idea of why speed skaters do it.
Well, I've heard them talk about that. That's why they chose that, because in theory about this, running really fast, which isn't physically possible yet. How would you handle your momentum and whatever? So,
but what I'm saying is, like, even within the speeds that are possible, your stride changes as you try to go faster and faster. Or I'm just completely lack of balance, and if I go any fast, it's like, whoa, settle down.
I'm sorry, when you said you were talking about finding speed skates in your size, there's some managed you strapping machetes to the bottom of your feet. I had to get that image out of my head. Thank you.
When he said that, I wanted to say, did you have trouble finding a leotard in your size?
No.
I have those. I don't know. This isn't even a segue. What do you guys think about Supergirl?
Very angry. She's like, do you know what the symbol means? Hope. And then like goes fucking berserk throughout the rest of her
she should be angry. She was in
Oh,
prison.
yeah, she should be angry. Damn humans.
Because Jermaine has spoken.
Because she is apparently in talks to continue her role as Supergirl. And Supergirl is one of the movies that they had announced when James Gunn made all the announcements. So there is a Supergirl movie in the works, and apparently she's in talks, I guess, I'm assuming, to play that Supergirl.
As long as we get Super Spit back, then yeah, I'm all for it. Of all the way to test her powers, we'd be coming back. I don't know, let you. Yeah, they're back.
I really didn't mind it too much. Like the whole thing where she, comes out and then she gets she soaks up the sun energy, and then she had a little bit of that like flux moment, where her senses were overwhelmed. Like I knew they had to get through all that stuff pretty fast. Like I knew, it was going to be that.
It wasn't her movie.
Yeah, that quote unquote plot device, where she's just going to go through it for a second. But when she was fighting Zod, and then Zod told her that she was the key, and then she asked him what happened to the baby, I was like, oh yeah, let it happen. I was like, in the words of Isaac, that whole battle with kneel before Rod.
I don't know if you'll be able to make that out on the in the camera, but we'll get a close up shot of that later.
We have a sticker of one of Isaac's favorite quotes, or one of his iconic quotes.
One of our favorite quotes of Isaac's.
Yeah.
But before Rod.
Well, because I felt like, I really enjoyed like the screams, like when she, like her frustration, the screams. I felt like it was such a, I don't want to say like feminine, because guys can scream too, but it's like, I don't know, it felt just right, like a character like her, and we barely knew her, but just like the screams, like that frustrated, the way she handled it. I guess it was nice to see something different, like to see a character do that, because I sometimes do that at work, maybe more internally, because I'm in the public.
No, I get to drive around in a truck by myself, and I'm pissed. I'm fucking screaming.
And so that
cathartic.
I guess that was like really kind of in a way refreshing to see like that much anger and frustration being actually expressed versus just some grunts or some like
Superheroes are people too. Doug has spoken. Overall, the cast was great, and their conveying of emotions was amazing. I know I haven't seen Ezra Miller in a lot of things. I know I've seen him in Fantastic Beasts, and he brought that ability of just the range of emotions of playing an idiot and playing, a somber character. And then you have Keaton and just everyone else and all of their chops. Like, there wasn't anyone that was lacking in ability.
Yeah.
So
and Ezra Miller playing like two characters essentially.
That's tough.
Yeah.
But it really brought the whole movie. So like, storyline aside, whatever issues somebody might have had with it and CG, like just the acting itself, for me, it grounded it and it really brought it together.
Yeah.
I have spoken.
I mean, it's interesting because we've said like there's good acting, there's some cool points to it. Mm-hmm. I thought like story wise, it was kind of fun to go back to that General Zod landing and like
Rod.
There's a lot of kind of cool things to it, but still somehow that overall package was kind of like, oh, okay.
It was very mid. I liked it a lot. I don't think I loved it. I will definitely watch it again. Very mid. Mid's not a bad thing,
I
by
guess
the
that's
way.
The thing is, like, a lot of these superhero movies, I don't really feel like I would watch again. But there is some of this that it'd be cool to watch some of this stuff again. Some of those action scenes
like,
actually were
watch
pretty
it,
memorable.
like I would have it on, but it would be like something when I'm doing something else and I have it on in the background. So
Especially when he's running.
one of my questions
Or screaming.
that I always ask myself, like when I watch a movie or somebody asks me about a movie, my question is for you guys: would you guys recommend go watch the movie in theater or wait for it to come out on Max?
Theater. Any action movie, I
worth
say
big screen.
theater.
Yeah.
What's that?
It's worth big screen.
Yeah, I want to start somewhere in the near future. Because I watch movies a bunch, and for a minute, like a year or so ago, I used to post on my other Instagram before I got hacked. My little movie reviews.
I liked your reviews.
Yeah, thank you. You're my one of 5 fans. People would ask about it, like, "Wait, did you see that movie? What did you think of it?" In fact, like an hour before we recorded, somebody who listened to the show was like, "You're going to talk about The Flash?" And they told me what they thought about it. So I'm thinking in the near future having some kind of like rating system where it's like, would you watch it? Would you watch it in the theater? Would you watch it on IMAX or Dolby? Would you watch it at home? Would you watch it on your phone? Or would you just not watch it at all?
Or would you pirate it?
But you know what I mean? So just that kind of rating system, because like you said, like, yeah, you would watch it, but you would have it in the background as you're doing something else.
Yeah, I would just tell somebody, like, honestly, my opinion, I'm like, you don't really need to go watch it at the theater. Like, you could wait for Max.
My big rating is like, should you move it up on your list? Because we all have that list of like movies we're supposed to watch. And
I think we talked about it episode 1.
Yeah.
About like that list.
Yeah. So to me, it's like, you should probably just like put it in front of your list. Like it's worth watching now at this point. I don't know about this one, but that would be an example of how I would give a review.
I'd say in one weekend you should check out Transformers and then The Flash.
Yeah, the new Transformers.
Oh wait, and then across the Spider-Verse, The Flash,
yeah,
and then Transformers. There you go. That's that arrangement for you. Go check it out.
Go get them.
Give it a 3 nerds out of 4.
I was talking to these guys about The Flash. I think you weren't here yet.
Tell me. Got real serious.
So the end credit scene, there's drunk Aquaman. It was kind of weird.
Oh yeah.
But they established like through that conversation, they established that Barry had gone back in time quite a few times to try to fix things, right? Because we got the George Clooney thing, which means things weren't fixed.
Right.
And he realized that. And then talking to Aquaman, he's like, "Oh, all the universes, like you're the same, blah blah blah." And there was all these different Bruce Waynes. So James Gunn has already said like this movie was like kind of the reset. So we are now in possibly, I guess, the DCU. And I was joking with these guys about the idea that like Barry Allen went back in time to try to fix things and it didn't work. So he went back in time and tried to fix things over and over. At some point, he just gave up, right? Because we're going to get a new Superman. We're going to get all these new characters. And so at some point, Barry came back and was like, "You're not my Superman, but okay, we got a Superman. Like the league's here. Like
You're just gonna settle.
Okay, this is good. This is fine. Like I really like that idea. Someone should write that in a comic book form.
That what is that meme with the dog in the fire. He's like, this is fine.
This is fine.
This is fine.
This is like a tip 200, and he's like, everyone, no one's like werewolves. Like, oh, okay, all right, this is good enough. This is fine.
Going back to that cameo multiverse scene where all the worlds are colliding, was there any cameo that you would have wanted to see, like the CW Flash? Because there was a Ezra Miller
there was
cameo.
big talk.
There's a crossover in that where, if you remember, that's where he learned, or that's where he got, the Flash. That's a cool name.
Yeah. CW Flash, where he learned his name.
And Grant Gustin just left CW Flash, so he finished that.
But I think that might have been done with after Ezra Miller was going through all his real world.
Oh, you think they didn't want
world stuff? Like, I don't know if that had any strife between them, or not saying that they had strife, but I don't know if that
I would have liked to see it.
ended all that stuff. So
Well, I was saying like we had potential to even see like 5 Batman on screen.
Yeah.
Like they could have brought in Bale, Pattinson, Clooney, Keaton. Like they were all like,
I don't think Bale wants to get in that suit again.
probably not. But didn't he say he would do it if Nolan was?
I think so.
yeah, he said he would do
So
that.
bring in Nolan to film a scene. Why was that one scene just so goddamn good?
Definitely
Like 3 minutes.
Really
It was
good.
like,
You know
stands
that
out.
scene? It was really good.
I laughed. I cried.
Shit, it was so grounded.
I was very upset that there wasn't a dick sphere up there.
God damn it! It's fucking second time.
I need
Second time.
dick.
I don't.
And I need it now.
That's a good place to interrupt this episode.
For those
I've
of you
waited
listening,
so long.
that's
for
a
Dick
double
Grayson.
entendre.
And at this point, the guy that plays Dick Grayson in Titans,
so good.
like, let him keep doing it. Like, I mean, at this point, I'm like, I'm sold on it. Like, let him keep doing it. Like,
No, James Gunn says
he's
no.
definitely scratched the itch, but I need big screen.
Yeah, what a
oh,
good
yeah.
dick.
Oh yeah.
I need IMAX dick.
Great
Rudy.
dick.
Rudy needs good.
And he's not just like the young Robin. He's experienced dick.
Yeah. He's been through some stuff.
Nothing beats experienced dick.
Yeah.
Oh, freshly shaven Dick Grayson. My gosh.
All right. Well, hey, all good as places.
Oh, hold
any.
on, hold on.
fuck.
Hold on. In every universe, Rudy's the same. He loves Dick. There is no universe without Rudy and loving Dick. I'm gonna just end it there.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for listening. We have been the Hype Attack Podcast. That fucking last line with Jermaine. God damn it, he has fucking spoken. Check us out on our social medias, Instagram, TikTok. Watch us and listen to us on all of the things. We're on Spotify, we're on Stitcher, we're on SoundCloud, we're on YouTube, we're on Audible, we're on iTunes, we're on all the places that you listen to podcasts. So check us out, like us, subscribe, rate, review, share our posts, everything. Please, if you like what you're listening to, don't keep us your dirty little secret. Pass us along like a fun venereal disease. So Doug, go ahead.
He wasn't ready.
And no, hold on. Before Doug does his thing, I want you guys to listen to Doug because none of this is happening right now. I want this to happen.
Yeah.
Doug,
Yeah. Because I know, like, our personal friends listen and follow, and even they do not comment on our stuff or
Yep.
keep the conversation going. Please do. I mean, that's the fun of nerd stuff, is the conversation.
Take the please out of there. Tell them, Doug.
Oh, not too nice. Hold on, let me like
Talk to me,
hold on,
motherfucker.
like, in multiple universe, leave us a fucking comment.
Oh, God. Oh, it moved. Found my kink. So, guys.
Sorry, I don't mean to be so mean, but
Oh, yeah, but
please
let us-
join for the conversation.
Oh no, but let us know how you guys felt about the Flash movie if you've seen it. You know, any thoughts on anything that we've talked about. You know, just leave us comments. You know, positive or negative. You know, you're not gonna hurt my feelings.
And like I always say, if there's anything that we missed or if anything you want to talk about, hit us up in the DMs and the comments. Please communicate with us. Let's be a big community. So thanks again for listening.
Yeah, let us know if any movie will ever get a floating head right. Wrap it up.
You guys, say my
Doug,
time.
hold on. Doug, if they don't comment, what are you going to do? You heard it here. Get into those comments.
All right, guys. Same hype time.
Same hype channel.
Hype attack.